So starting down the end, John Davy, who is an investor, a speaker, is now a resident in the UAE, who's got tremendous experience building high-growth companies, digital marketing, and high-yield development. Julie Lewis, thank you very much, an award-winning entrepreneurial adventure speaker and author. Julie's the best, helps teams, individuals, and government agencies around the world step out and show up with unthinkable courage. Saif El Hakim, how are you, brother? Great to see you. Renowned as the Alpha, whom you would have seen right across the net. Internationally acclaimed entrepreneur, speaker, author, acknowledged as one of the most influential figures and a powerhouse in entrepreneurship, wealth creation, mindset mastery, and is the ex-chief marketing officer of Samsung Electronics and the founder of the Alpha Movement and chairman of Alpha Global. Thank you. And last but not least, Timur Kudratov, who started as a lifeguard at Wild Body Park in 2004.
Yes.
And now he's here as a gladiator, entrepreneur, investor with more than 20 years experience in the UAE. He has established 200 companies, invests in startups, and helps relocate and launch businesses in Dubai. Round of applause for our gladiators on stage, please.
Yes.
Tremendous. John, we'll start with you down the end. We've heard a lot this morning of people talking about the importance of mindset. In your experience, you've worked and sold clubs and you've been tremendously successful. As part of your entrepreneurial success, how important is your own mindset?
I think mindset gives you, as I was just saying earlier to one of the panelists, it gives you only a ticket to the party. Let's take that as just, you've got to have mindset, but apply to what? Mindset to do something indifferent? That won't get you anywhere. Mindset to do something that doesn't change the world? That doesn't move the dial. I mean, in our business, Marissa and I's business, we change the world constantly. There are people living that wouldn't be. There are people around the world that got careers that wouldn't be. I think it's mindset, but mindset applied to something that you will walk across broken glass for every day.
So it's implementing those mindset tricks that we heard, but also taking action.
Taking action, but taking action with something that's important. Now, it doesn't have to be groundbreaking, but it does have to be executed really, really well. I mean, really well. You can't have a mindset, a brilliant mindset, and execute it with mediocrity ever.
And it can also be quite challenging. It's easy to have a positive mindset at the start, but there's always going to be bumps in the road. There's always going to be speed bumps. Julie, you've worked with a lot of entrepreneurs. You've been in a lot of situations where you've had to share your experience. Can you share to us maybe an experience where a positive mindset really helped you navigate a challenging business situation?
Yeah, sure. I actually prefer the word mind state, because what's your state of mind when you're dealing with the situation?
Can you just bring the mic a bit closer?
I can.
There we go.
I can. Are you operating from what I would call a red mind, where you're stressed, you're not really thinking straight? Are you in a grey mind, a blah, blah, blah? Or are you in what I call a blue mind, or Wallace J. Nichols calls a blue mind, where you're really calm, focused, still, and you're like, what's now? And then you can actually focus on a solution instead of worrying about the situation. This is happening. It's just like, this is the situation. Let's focus on some solutions. So
it's about self-awareness and knowing what sort of mindset to adapt?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Socrates. Know thyself, your values, your strengths, your emotional priorities, your habits. How do you respond when somebody says something? So that emotional awareness as well as the mind, I think, your emotional fitness and flexibility. When this happens, how do you respond? Is it a trigger, or is it okay, I hear that, I acknowledge that, but I'm going to do this instead. So it's just really, you make yourself your best and your closest friend.
Yeah.
Socrates, know thyself.
Fantastic lessons. And Saif, I know Saif's story really well, because he invited me on his podcast to speak to him about his story for an hour. And I learned an immense about a lot of the times you shared in your story, how do you approach failure when things don't go to plan? We've all had people, you went off and went to Russia had huge success and your mum just wanted you to get back home, you know, and you have all these sort of hiccups. But when you're starting out particularly and you get those initial bounce backs, how do you approach the setback?
First of all, I love the energy in this room. So thank you very much for such energy. Failure is part of your journey. And if you're afraid of failure, you absolutely will end there.
Yeah.
Failure is not a defeat. So if you consider failure is a defeat, then you're finished. So how do I treat failure? I just sit down a little bit, sit back, analyze what happened. And I'm sure when I stand back up, I'm going to be much stronger than when I went down. So I take failure as an absolute lesson for me. And I love failures. People will tell me you're crazy, but I love failures.
I mean, that's people often say that never waste a crisis. That's where you're learning. That's where you're growing.
Absolutely. It doesn't scare me. I love it. I want to feel quick. I want to feel big. I want to feel fast.
Failure through learning through failure.
True.
Timur, you've been and worked with some 200 companies.
Yeah.
Now,
Doesn't say how many I closed.
Well, that's the key thing, because sometimes, you know, we often talk about that with, Thomas Edison and the light bulb. You know, we talk about, because he invented it. We don't talk about the thousands of other ideas that he came up, but he finally had one that broke through. You know, you've worked with so many businesses and so many startups. What do you think are some of the traps that entrepreneurs fall into? Those mistakes that we can learn from others when they start out?
Well, that's a good question. That's the one I didn't read, but I read that one.
Well, we can adapt. Let's see how we adapt to the gladiator mindset.
I wanted to reply to that question about failures and so, but yeah.
No, well, you can. We'll continue on the question.
No.
Yeah.
Well, it does say that there are so many companies I've opened and brought here into Dubai and developed, but yeah, it doesn't say how many failed. Thousands, and I think I'm gonna fail more and more, and it's not that I like it. So, when I fail, I get emotional, I cry, and all that. But I think it's all about how long you stay in that condition.
Now that's very brave, because Saif was just talking about the positive energy we've had in this room, and everyone's certainly on a high, and we're enjoying this. This embrace of positivity. But I think we need to be honest about that. Yeah, when you're an entrepreneur,
of course.
Yes, there are some really tough times where you're worried about how you're going to get through the next month.
Being an entrepreneur, it is a decision you take. And when it comes down to traps, that's where you get. So first, that's where I got myself into. The first time when I sat in a leather chair and I thought, oh, my that's the dream come true. I have a big office of 15, 20 people working for me. Now I made it all. Money comes and I don't have to work anymore. And it was 22, 23. That's when I started my business here in Dubai. But that's the first trap. When you think that you don't have to develop yourself, you don't have to learn anymore, that you know everything, and then you hired the right people. Now is the time to step back. Every time people say, I want to get out of operation, that's what I want to do. Well, I think it's a big trap. Getting out of operation, stop controlling your business. I'm not talking about micromanagement, where you get involved in every small step, but just getting out of operation if you want to do business. I think it's somewhere inside when you call yourself an entrepreneur or serial entrepreneur, or you do businesses, but you have to be ready that failures will come 100%. There is no success without failure. Telling yourself is another trap. Telling yourself that, oh, I'm doing well. I'm being positive. Staying in a positive mindset is one thing. But telling yourself lies, when you lie to yourself that, I'm going to do that, and tomorrow is another day, that's a lot of that's brought me into a lot of mistakes. My ego, when you have companies which are failing, and you have an ego thinking that, but I call it group of companies. There shouldn't be one or two companies, should be 10 companies. That's why I call it group of companies. So you have that crown on your head and you have that ego, being afraid to close down. Basically, closing down is not the failure. I mean, closing down means that you think straight, that you see that there are companies which are failing. Because if you run business for a year or so, and then it's not making money, don't wait for that great opportunity.
It's
That
know
I
when to
just
cut and
need
run.
that one big deal, one big client, and I'm going to make it all, or I'm going to cover all my losses with one contract. It's not going to happen. Either you change the strategy, you change the model, and thanks God we are in UAE, which allows us to do that.
And Timur, touching on that point, it's all good to be positive, but you've got to have the right team around you that are going to be honest when things are failing, not just getting the yes and the yeses. How do you find that situation, Johnny? I mean, you've been successful. How important is, whilst it's important to be the gladiator, to be surrounded by a team that's ably supporting and being honest with you?
You see, sometimes we forget that we're talking about motivation here. We're talking about the ability to turn up with a mindset. All of your team desire that. They look towards you for that. Yeah. Now, if you micromanage people, you're going to crush them. You're going to take their desire away. Your team are looking to you for guidance, but they're looking for you for space. Give me some space to shine. Allow me the tools. And those tools mean that you, as the entrepreneur and the owner, have got to take risk. If every single action from your team could never fail, then you are playing it too safe. And I suggest you've taken something away from that. You've taken something away which they want. They want that entrepreneurial risk. They want to sit in your chair. Everyone here, I want to do something bigger. I want your job. I want to be the entrepreneur. So allow me to take the risk and just allow them to be the entrepreneur in your company.
Yep. Julie, you spoke a lot about, obviously, Socrates and to know thyself. And then you also needing to know, as John is saying, your team. You've got a role to be a leader for yourself, but also within your team. What are some of the strategies that you find when you've got moments of doubt, but you've got to put on the positive cap and be the gladiator out in front of your team when maybe things aren't going so well?
I'm a big believer in leading by example. I think everything starts with yourself and start with your why. I think somebody mentioned that earlier. It's like, why am I doing this? And when you've got a really strong why, whatever mountain obstacle comes in your way, then you will find a way. So I think it's, again, like being optimistic, but not overly optimistic, which sometimes as entrepreneurs we are. Estimating how long it's going to take. What do people need? What do they see in me that would give them, their chance to shine also? So definitely leading by example, creating a safe space where people can share ideas. Socratic, what do you think? What do you think? I may have to make the decision, but everybody's given me their kind of input. So then we can actually work together as a team that this is our strategy, this is our process, and this is what it's going to look like. So what do we need to do today, tomorrow, even if it's 1 degree or 1%, to make things happen?
And Julie, that sounds simple, but it's something that's overlooked, because I think we've all had experiences where we've been in business, even if we've had a lower job on the rank, but we know what we're doing. And sometimes you're saying, to have a boss take you aside and go, you've been here a long time. What do you think? What's your experience about how we can how we can improve things? They may not action it, but it's that acknowledgement, isn't it, in their mindset to build your team around your central vision.
I don't think it's command and control anymore in this world. No, it's actually creating space for people to be heard and to listen, and then make a conscious, not unconscious, a conscious decision about what's actually best. So,
do you see that as an issue culturally within business? That maybe if there's a senior director who still likes to think of, I'm in charge, I'm paying the bills, it all ends with me, and they're not opening it up to sometimes the new ways or the new philosophies for perhaps graduates that are coming through?
I think people then vote with their feet. If you're not feeling seen and heard in an organization or appreciated, then you don't stay. You want to be part of a team. Yeah, there's a series of people that are leaders. Yeah. But then I think the role of a leader is to create more leaders, not more followers.
Saif, I want to get your knowledge. Thank you, Julie. I want to get your knowledge on networking.
Yeah,
go on.
I want to comment on something that Timur said, because
please.
It's absolutely the thing that I passed through, and I believe it's valuable. As entrepreneurs, we wake up every day, we have known costs, but we have unknown payoffs. And the more that we delay things, implementing things, the more that we incur more costs. Which one of the pitfalls that we fall in is what we call analysis paralysis.
Yeah.
That we keep thinking about the thing too much. But at the end of the day, the ideas are not tested in the minds. The ideas are tested in the market. So get your ideas out. Even if it's a beta thing, just get the thing out. Yeah. You will get the progress, you will get the momentum, and you will eventually succeed. Don't just keep the things in your mind that I'm testing, thinking, will get you nowhere.
And that's just not in business. I think that's in life. You know, in your relationships, if you've got a frustration, speak up to your boss. My background's actually in music. And they often talk about songwriters. If you've got half an idea, just get it out. Absolutely. Don't hide it. Put it down, record it, and then it's not floating around in your head, and then you've got that clarity for something else to come in.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
And when you have that situation, so you've been able to vocalize and get things out, I want to know the mindset between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset, because entrepreneurs can wake up, we've got this vision, we're gladiators, we're fixed on having this business and taking it down here within 5 years. But at what point do we need to be stubborn in our beliefs and that determination? And at what point do we need to be able to adapt and have a growth mindset?
I'll correct one thing.
Okay.
Being a gladiator doesn't mean you have a fixed mindset.
Okay.
You have a fixed goal, fixed objective that you want to get to it.
Yeah.
Of course, having a fixed mindset that doesn't allow you to learn, your ego takes over, you don't allow feedback, and all these things will put you into misery. So of course, any entrepreneur or any business person or any human has to embrace the growth mindset, which allows you to grow, get the feedback, love collaboration and partnership, join forces, exactly, and that will allow you to succeed. Other than that, so Gladiator is not about fixed mindset, it's about a fixed target.
Maybe that's something we can learn about the Instagram generation, the collab.
Yeah.
Between individuals, two great accounts collaborate together. Timur, further on those points that Saif was making, things change and we need to adapt. Now, you've been here. What a great story. You're the lifeguard 20 years ago. Here you are on stage. I want to know a bit more about your thoughts on the business landscape in the UAE, because some people have come from other countries, some have been here for a while, but this is a tremendous country that teaches you how to constantly adapt. How do you see it placed and where do you see it going?
100%. I always say, if the company comes to us and even if they find themselves that, first things, they come with a solution to a problem which might not exist in this country, and they should be ready to adapt. Mm-hmm. They have to change the solution, adapt to the local realities. But I always tell them, anyway, get into this market, even if the solution is good for another countries. So when they go to those countries as Dubai-based company, the 80% of the marketing for them is done by His Highness. So you don't have to explain who you are, where you're from, when you say we are a Dubai company. So that's first opportunity when it comes down to setting business here. Secondly, to bring talents from worldwide, anyone you want. When you say come and work for us, we are in Dubai, it's easier. People wants to come here. They look at this as a hub. So opportunities are endless. And what I like about UAE in general and the vision of His Highness and the rulers, that it's constantly, that's about the ideas, right? So they test the theories all the time. They just out there, let it try. If it doesn't work, no one says it's 100%. Okay, when Salik was implemented, people complained and we were using all the round roads to avoid Salik payments. And we still adjusted. It was released there. We tested the theory. There are so many rules and regulations which are released and then adopted, which shows that on the government level, the rulers, they're not afraid to test the theory. They're not afraid to fail. That's the reason why I think Dubai has so much success and potential. UAE in general, everyone wants to be here. Everyone wants to be a gladiator, but they have to... I have to use the gladiator.
Yeah, of
right?
course.
But
the masks are outside.
Yeah.
And John, I want to pick up on that because you've recently come to the UAE. huge success in the UK, with the comedy clubs and so forth. What do you see about the UAE now that is so exciting for entrepreneurs?
Oh, I'm so pleased you asked me because I really wanted that question.
I could see it in your eyes.
No,
I knew I had to come back to you.
No. Okay. Marissa and I run a huge business. As I said, it's a $100 million business around the world. And we've spent 7 years building that business in the UK, and then the last 6 years in California. When we came here a year ago and tasted the energy in this country, in this town, we were completely blown away. I couldn't believe it. We said, okay, maybe it's just a little bit of a fever. We went back to Los Angeles for 3 months just to say, is it real? We came back and bought a house. We now live here. This is what's really burning in our heart here, is not only can we act as entrepreneurial vision and doing the things that are important, the way the government are helping us here, it's just absolutely incredible. Just read the 30-year document, the 2030 document, align what you're trying to do, and the government is like a wind beneath your wings. I mean, I never thought I would, as an entrepreneur, actually take my hat off to a government, and I've never seen it anywhere in the world. And we sold our house in the UK, we sold our house in Los Angeles, and we are all in. So thank you, whoever is out there.
And we were just speaking about that before, that, coming from a country, the United Kingdom, anyone from the UK knows this term, the tall poppy. As an Australian, we took it and perfected it, cutting them down more so than you could believe. And here, everyone I know here working just as an entrepreneur and a hustler in different opportunities, people want to support you. They want to embrace you. And it's such a foreign concept. Have you found that as well, Julie?
Definitely. I think I'm an emerita. I can't say I'm an emirati. I'm an emerita. I've lived here more than 2/3 of my life. So I'm an emerita. And I've lived in 4 of the Emirates. Because I believe in moving around. And I just think it's a great place and space. So, yeah.
Saif, great opportunity from Egypt, from memory, Russia, and you've been across Asia. Why is Dubai the home of where you gave birth to the Alpha movement?
Dubai makes things easy. I've been living in Egypt, South Korea, Russia, Turkey, a couple of more countries. First of all, Dubai is a hub for entrepreneurship. It makes things super easy for people to set up their businesses. It's an extremely safe place. I've been through my journey through some regulations in different countries that make your life hell. So as just a quick example to people understand how here is really heaven. In one of the countries, I rented offices, registered the company, but I couldn't put in the office because there is something called a permit to sit. So I had to dismantle all these things. So Dubai is really a place where also makes things easy, but at the same time powers you up because it pushes you beyond your comfort zone. You want to perform. You want to give value. You want to be visible. So that's why Dubai is a great place, especially now also.
More so than ever. We've lived through this, those of you that were here during COVID and the resilience. Any experiences you want to share?
With being and living here? Only yesterday I had a meeting with an entrepreneur who moved from Singapore, and he was sharing the same experience, saying that you think it's tough here to get permissions, nothing compared to Asia. You have to spend a lot to get employees, and then you might not even get a permission for them to work, and then your whole business structure. But in terms of experience, as you said, I'm here since 2004. Now it's almost 20 years, right?
Great story.
Dubai changed a lot, and there were times where I was thinking that a grass greener somewhere else. I went to Switzerland, and I thought
and the grass is greener in Switzerland.
100% white snow and stuff. But then I got sick. Just the flu. I went to buy some medicine, couldn't buy medicine. I bought strepsils for 42 francs. I was like, no, there in Dubai, I'm Mr. Timur, even if I don't have anything.
Yeah.
And
it's nice for 3 weeks in summer.
Exactly.
It's better to come back
with all due respect to all the countries out there, I mean, but Dubai.
We've heard about the importance of mindset, and we've heard about the opportunities that are here. They're presenting us here in the UAE. Back to you, John. I want to hear about building brands from you. So we know that we've got this mindset. Mm-hmm. We know that we've got this opportunity. We saw it with Munir flashing his cash around earlier on today. You've had huge success building brands, comedy clubs, online, e-commerce businesses. For someone who is starting out, maybe they've got this idea, they want to shop online or Shopify, whatever they want to use. Your top tips from your experience in building a brand from an idea in your head and having it as something the consumer can embrace?
I think I must be asked this question almost once a week because we've done this now probably half a dozen times, building world-class brands. How do you do it? And they want to jump to, is it an Instagram? Do you do that? Is it LinkedIn? Do you push it there? But I want to point out that Instagram and all the rest of the social medias, can we just call those amplifiers? They're not brand builders. The way that you build a brand is people give a damn about your brand. And the only way you can do that is, oh my gosh, I sound like a broken record. Do something important, do something that changes their life. And that could well be a bottle of water or a piece of therapy or a piece of real estate. Produce something that someone will say to their friend, hey, this is absolutely amazing. If you can get somebody to care about your brand, and that's not about Instagram, that's actually making a really damn good product. It's having customer care that people will die for. And at the center of brand is NPS, Net Promoter Score. If you're not measuring your Net Promoter Score and you say you're interested in brand, you're not. You've got to produce something that people will pick the phone up and say, oh my God, I've just got to tell you about. Now, when you're there and you get that type of brand love, then, hey, Instagram, bring it on, because now I can amplify something that's good. People confuse brand building and amplification all of the time.
Do you want to add anything more to that about your experience, Julie, just in regards to the tips for entrepreneurs when they're first starting out about building brands for new businesses?
I think it's just important to be really clear on your values, what's important to you, so people know that, for example, my top value is my health. So every decision I make, will it,
physical health, mental
health, mental, spiritual, emotional, the whole 9 yards. Does it bring me joy? Does it give me freedom? Am I growing? Can I make a difference? So if I can tick those 5 boxes, then that's the value that I'd like to send out to the world. So yeah, Julie likes, being healthy, joy, freedom, courage, making a difference, growing. So then people buy into your value set because it also resonates with them. They can relate to it. So I think it's just been very, very clear on who you are, and live it and breathe it and walk it. And then people say, I want some of that.
Yeah. And it's a great one. Saif, you've done it numerous times. You've done it with Samsung, not just brands, rebranding. You think about technology, every 3 years, it's almost the new business. What are some of the lessons you learned from that experience with Samsung?
Actually, I just want to say that what John said really hit me, because there's a difference between amplification and branding. Very well said.
Yeah.
And I want to add on it, because when the microphone was invented, it also was an equipment to amplify. So if you sing like bad, you're amplifying the bad. So John, very well said.
Thank you.
It's the difference between amplification.
Yeah, round of applause. Thank you. But your experience in building new brands, you talk about the competition that is in there with the tech sector, because you might have a tremendous brand, but then the technology changes and it's obsolete within 2 years. Sure. What are the lessons that you learned, maybe not as an entrepreneur, but inside one of the biggest companies on the planet for building brand?
Having your values set clear, your stories set clear, being extremely consistent. And at the end, as Shiraz was saying, being everywhere.
Yeah.
But again, don't just amplify for the sake of amplification. With the right message, with the right value, with the right stories.
Yeah. Anything you want to add about all the businesses you've worked and learned from?
Left me at the end, so they all.
I'll start with you next time.
They said everything, all the nice things about branding. But I agree to one point that personal branding is important.
Mm-hmm.
Branding is important, but when it comes down to person, I always tell our team that they have to create an information circle around them. They can use, in our company, they can use an opportunity to promote themselves so they can grow, because I know then the company can grow, because every time they're out there, people ask them, what do you do, where you work, you are so amazing. They would know, they would say that they are part of my team. So branding is important, and if you are part of a company, use that opportunity to promote yourself, because
yeah, it's a great way to leverage, not just start on your own.
of course.
Try and start on your own with that hustle.
I mean, you use
within
all
another
the
job.
tools available out there. I mean, you are in the office, you can attend events, be out there on LinkedIn, social media, talk about what you do on daily basis, not in order to promote your company, but just promote yourself as professional. People would want to hunt you down saying, that's what we do. We'll look at the social media and see who is doing that, because sometimes you hire a person and then you say, okay, promote yourself. I'm not really good with camera. I'm afraid to do that. Well, nowadays it's important. Changed.
Of all the businesses that you work with,
thank
no,
you.
come on, you work with the heat. I'm going to start with you.
Exactly.
What are the common mistakes you see entrepreneurs make? What are the mistakes
mistakes?
that they make when they start out? Is it lack of knowledge, not knowing yourself, lack of finances, lack of research, too much ego? We heard JJ talk about. What's the most common mistake you see people make?
Well, mistakes. Well, common mistakes. I think all the mistakes are common. It's everyone goes through this. I mean, if we talk about Dubai,
yeah.
So I've seen so many trainings when people get excited, inspired, and then they call their bosses and they resign because they want to do something on their own. Don't do that. I mean, especially in Dubai, you have to have your financial pillow sort of thing. All right. So you start something online with free available tools while still working. I don't say you have to quit 9-to-5 job. In Dubai, you have to sustain yourself. And I always say, if you want to give back to society, sustain yourself first, right? So the common mistakes when people get excited, they resign and they think that 9-to-5 job is not for them. And they out there, no visa, no financial income, and they want to do business. It's much more expensive here than elsewhere. But of course, opportunities, that's why opportunities are there. So the most common mistake is thinking that, okay, now you are an entrepreneur, you got excited, you went to a training, you heard that that's what you need to do. I mean, it's good to develop ideas, 100%, but test them, as Saif said. Test as much as you can. Use all the opportunities, all the available tools. Nowadays, it's so easy. You can build almost for free any online shop. Use your personal branding, develop it. Then, once you tested it, you like it, once the income from that business cover all the costs you have in Dubai, then start.
Now, we are almost out of time. I'm going to start with you this time, and then we'll get Saif to wrap it up. Sure. What are your final messages or thoughts for the people here that are gladiators today?
Well, first of all, really, really excited that thanks to Dariush and the team who have organized it so well, that, I mean, to keep the crowd of 500 people in one room, it's difficult. With all the technical issues and the people coming on time and leaving. So thank you very much. Let's do a round of applause to the team and gladiators. Okay. So, yeah.
John, anything you want to touch on? Anything about mindset or the secret or anything else that you might want to mention?
Okay. All right. Look, there's a very good book called The Secret. And I think it's been responsible for people backsliding a lot. It's not about the secret. You can't just manifest your way with nothing. It replaced simply hard work. It replaced simply doing a good job. So The Secret's a nice book to have, but please don't make your life out of that.
and Julie, thank you. Great point. Your final thoughts? Do you want to mention anything about what it's like to push your body, push yourself to its limit of what you can learn from?
I think as leaders, business owners, entrepreneurs, We need to be thinking, eating, moving, sleeping, hydrating, meditating, deciding, when we want to be social, when we want to be have solitude. So it's not just one thing. You can't just go to the gym and then eat crap and get 2 hours sleep and not hydrate and have the wrong people around you. So it's this kind of ecosystem of absolutely everything. And I think if I would like anybody to take anything away from today is to actually say yes. I mean, also it's important to say no to certain things that don't resonate, but you all said yes today to come here, as an experience. And the more experiences we have, the more resilient we become, the more wise we become, and we fail, we learn, we grow, we learn. So I would always say yes to as many experiences as possible, whether they're good, not so good, heartbreaking, but what is the gift in that success or in the failure? So say yes.
Thank you, Julie. I love it. That positivity.
Yay!
Power. The power of the word yes. Saif, you've got the opportunity. Final thoughts. Well, what are your messages from your experience with the Alpha movement, with everything you've started up?
I think in general, I want to say that business is not a rocket science. And at the end of the day, it's not also about motivation. So you can't motivate yourself to success. You have to have a design for success. Business is designed to succeed, which in a way that you've never seen a pilot sitting in the cockpit clapping for the plane to fly. Correct? The plane is designed to fly, exactly as businesses. The businesses are designed to fly. So your motivation is good, but the design for the business itself has to succeed, which means the products, the ecosystem, have mentors, model the process, all these things, when you put it together, 100% your business will succeed.
Wonderful. Big round of applause for our panelists who have been fantastic. John Davy, Julie Lewis, Saif El Hakim, Timur Kudratov, thank you. It's been great to share the stage with you.